Tonight's gonna be good, guys. I'm a little, flushed still. My face looks a little flushed because I just got done at the gym here. I was doing boxing, like 7 rounds of bag, right? Just heavy bag for like 2 to 3 minutes. Usually closer to two. Three is hard for 7 rounds for me. I get just kind of gassed. I'm a big guy. I'm like 225 pounds, 6 foot. Hopefully, I'd say closer to 6'1", but 6 foot, for sure. But welcome in, guys. Get settled in. Tonight's episode is going to be pretty impactful. And if you guys are here as a content clipper, welcome in as well. This is going to be important for you guys who share our content, who are part of Altura, who are part of Nova's growth, right? Our AI tool that we're dropping in 2 weeks around Valentine's Day on the App Store. Because tonight's topic is going to cover something that's very new to Nova, something we just discovered, something that the world, not just me, not just my team, not just tech, but the world has been trying to achieve recently. What I'm about to share with you tonight isn't speculation. It's not a prediction about, 2030 or 2050 or whatever. This is happening right now, and most people have no idea. 3 weeks ago, I asked an AI tool, right, to send an email to somebody that I hadn't spoken to in, let's say, 3 years. Not draft the email, not suggest what to write, actually send it. Like log into my Google account, my Gmail, compose the message, hit send, done. It didn't work, of course, because that seems like something in the future. Well, yesterday, moving into today, I tried it again with the technology that we've built. 8 seconds. That's not a chatbot. That's not ChatGPT. That's not Grok. It's not a simple web searching tool that takes your money and sells your data. That's not autocomplete on your iPhone when you're sending a message. That's an agent operating in the world on my behalf, as if I hired a person. I'm Caleb Schuelke. I'm the founder of Altura, and today I want to walk you through what I believe is the most significant technological shift, maybe of our lifetime, even if you've been alive since the internet itself. Not because the technology is impressive as a whole, though it is, right? But because the window to understand it and to position yourself closely and accurately within it is closing faster than really any of us realize watching this at all. We hear about AI taking our jobs, and if you guys don't move fast on this, and if you do, right, your life may change for the good or for the bad. Now that everyone's joined, again, one more round of welcome. Thank you guys for your generous, right, feedback, your watch time on our platform, spending time on Altura for free, using Nova for free to even help us make this tool, and everything you guys have done to support the journey. I know it's not a lot of you, right? We're not massive yet. We're not ChatGPT with 300 million users yet, but for those of you who are using Nova, who are getting a free AI tool that isn't stealing your data and selling it to Microsoft for $10 billion, just like OpenAI did with ChatGPT, you guys can hopefully be assured that you're on the safe team. You're on the good guy side. So let me explain what actually right now is different versus, let's say, 6 months ago. For years, right, AI has been kind of this really sophisticated autocomplete. I read books on this. I've studied it, right? You type and it predicts what's going to come next using what's called a series of weights. It's useful, it's interesting, but it's fundamentally pretty passive. It's really just like an autocomplete, on steroids. What's emerged in the last few months is something categorically different. These systems that, could complete sentences can now complete actions. They can navigate interfaces. They can make decisions. They can execute multi-step workflows without human intervention, like as if you had an employee working for you. The technical term for this is called Agentic AGI, or AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. But I think it undersells really what's happening here. What we're witnessing, what's going on today in this phase that we're in with AI's life cycle, is machines crossing the threshold really from tools to actual human level collaborator. Here's a concrete example, right? I was on Instagram the other day and I saw one of our competitors. I won't name them, but they're approximately a $10 billion company. Recently, they just released what's called computer use. You might know who this company is already. It's impressive technology. The AI can basically see your desktop screen, it screenshots it, figures out what to do next, and then it moves your cursor, it clicks buttons for you. It's a very cool demonstration. It kind of shocks you the first time you see it, watching your computer mouse move around, do things on your behalf. But here's the thing. It costs over $100 a month. It's really slow as well because it has to visually take a screenshot, process your screen, figure out what the next best thing to click on is to get the job done. And then it fails constantly because interfaces, screens change, right? Buttons move, pop-ups appear as it's working on stuff. So we took an entirely different approach with Nova. Instead of mimicking human interaction with screens, we built direct API integration, is what it's called. When you ask Nova to send an email on your behalf, instead of like watching your mouse move and you can't touch your mouse because it's a computer controlling it for you, therefore I can't multitask. As I'm watching the mouse, instead of opening a new tab, it doesn't open Gmail. It doesn't find the compose button and it doesn't type it out character by character as if you were watching this competitor. It authenticates directly with Google and Gmail's API, which is kind of like a backend into their system. And it executes the action usually within half a second to 2 seconds. This competitor takes at least 30 seconds to do the same job. The result? Well, what takes their system, for a complex action to actually type out the email about 2 minutes, right? And frequent failures right now, Nova does in always usually under 10 seconds with near perfect reliability, at $20 a month, not $200. I'm not saying this to brag. I know it's insanely cool. I think it's so awesome. I'm literally like so excited to talk about this technology. I'm saying this because the gap between approaches matters, right? The difference between a 2-minute failure-prone process, right? Like having an employee that doesn't know what the hell they're doing versus an 8-second instantly done job isn't an incremental growth. It's the difference between a toy that looks cool and does fancy magic tricks with a mouse and a tool that you can actually use to outcompete your competitors, to stand out at work, to be the employee of the month, to rise above the ranks, to start your own business instead of hiring employees and making it on your own, and competing with the big dogs. Okay, here's where I really need to be honest with you about this, because I think there's a lot of toxic positivity in the AI space. I do in some ways think it's a bubble too. Everyone wants to sell you the dream without acknowledging the disruption. So I'm gonna give you both sides. I think that's fair. Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT, I don't see his ass getting on a podcast and talking about the downsides of ChatGPT. He says the dangers, right? He acknowledges them. I think in the video, right? I think AI will most definitely kill, or lead to the end of the human race. But in the meantime, it's gonna, create a lot of economic value. Who says that? I don't think what we're doing is dangerous right now. But I am going to talk about the danger or the potential danger, right? Without making myself sound like a psychopath. It's real. If your job consists primarily of tasks that can be described basically in plain language, right? Simple sentences, simple actions on what to click, you're in a precarious position right now. Not because AI is going to replace you tomorrow, but because the economics are literally shifting underneath you. And we're seeing layoffs happen greater and greater. Think about it, right? A junior analyst at a consulting firm costs what? Like $80,000 a year fully loaded with the training and the college, right? Plus the benefits. They can research, they can write reports, they can analyze facts, they can prepare presentations, they can send that in an email to their supervisor. Good ones like that are at the company work maybe 50 productive hours a week. An AI agent costs $240 a year, right? $20 a month for us. It works 24/7. It's instant. It doesn't need training. It doesn't take vacation. It doesn't make the same mistake twice, ever. I'm not celebrating this. I actually don't think this is a good thing. And if I didn't make it, somebody else was going to make it. I'm not celebrating it. I'm just acknowledging it, okay? The math is brutal. I wish the world wasn't like this. And I'm not pretending, right, that we're not disenfranchising people or from, keeping their job or putting them at a position to succeed. I'm saying that this is technology available to anyone. Over the next 3 to 5 years or less, maybe even by 2027, I believe we're going to see very significant displacement in knowledge-based work. Legal research, right? We're already seeing that. ChatGPT can write like a contract for you. Financial analysis, customer service, content creation, video script writing, administrative work. These categories are going to contract dramatically. You just heard about the thousands of employees that Meta laid off, right? Among other companies. And here's what concerns me the most about this, because I don't want to come from the position of we're changing the world with this technology. We're going to make a lot of money with it, sure. There's going to be a lot of people that use it, but I'm worried just as much as everyone else. The people who will be hit hardest are people who are going to lose their jobs with the tools like the ones I created, even though, again, somebody else is just going to create it anyway. Those are the ones that were least prepared. And I hate to put it like that, but every time, right? Look at the Industrial Revolution. Look at literally just the Iron Age, right? Thousands of years ago, when you needed like extra labor around the house. You had to have a bunch of kids, and then you could bring in like the reaper, right? The sickle, right? And harvest grain faster. You didn't need to hand pick it. Stuff like that. Human evolution changes constantly. And the dynamic effect of technological innovation puts people always at a displacement. And it doesn't mean people are forever put off by it and they're forever, thrown away for their effort and their work to get in a position where they were. It's just they have to adapt, right? I'm in the military, right? And obviously you've seen the news, right? Recently, we're being encouraged to use AI tools at work, right? It's kind of like a requirement now. If you're not adapting, if you're not innovating, you're going to get outperformed by somebody who is, okay? So understand that there is a different side to this, right? And middle managers, I think, are going to get hit the hardest. Those people who coordinate things, right? The information flow, junior professionals that are building like foundational skills. Honestly, just any intern at a white collar job, entire career paths that used to be stable on-ramps to the middle class that built, honestly, most of our economy, those are gone. And I honestly do think blue collar might be the safest way to go if you're not using this tool. So that's your choice. That's the danger. The danger isn't somebody coming after you with a gun. It's not AI gonna wipe out the human race, at least not yet, thankfully. It's that somebody that uses this tool when you don't, that has access to podcasts and information, and Nova, the tool we created for $20, is going to outperform you. It's guaranteed. So you either use it, as unfortunate as it is, that's your choice, or you just don't join that career field. That's the danger, right? But there's another side to this. I do believe that, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't have put the work in. And I also think I don't trust necessarily the companies that are going out. You've heard of the like OpenAI, right? Firing the board, whistleblowers coming out. Like their team is very, very ethically challenged, which concerns me, which is why I had to, stand on good morals for build an AI that it was inherently there to protect people's data that we wouldn't go sell off to companies and challenge that. Because at the same time, that, displacement also amplifies. And this is where I get kind of genuinely excited. This is where we can flip it on its head. Because I always got to lead with the kind of informed pessimism, but I love to play on the optimistic side of it too. If you understand what's happening, if you understand these shifts, the challenges in our economy, people losing their jobs, if you're in school right now, if you're trying to educate yourself or just figure out what career to go into, I'm going to say, having built this, right? If you position yourself correctly, the leverage available to individuals right now is unprecedented, I would argue, in human history, ever. It's like having the first iron pickaxe, right? Or to go mine, I'm thinking Minecraft, right? But like to go mine like ore, right? So like everyone else is having shovels and digging, right? Let's give a better, like trying to think of like this, the steam engine, right? So like you have the first let's just say steam powered motive, right? So the steam powered locomotive, you can transport coal and minerals, right, at a massive speed because you can haul train carts worth of them, right, as opposed to horse and buggy, right? So you just got an insane competitive advantage. This is going to take that competitive advantage, like having the first ever train compared to a horse and buggy, and it's going to multiply it by thousands, in my opinion. That's the excitement. Before Nova, I'm going to give you a real number too. I was spending roughly 40 hours a week, which is the equivalent of a full-time job, on tasks that I can now complete in about 4 hours. And I look 10 times more impressive because of it. Email management, research, scheduling, first drafts of content done in minutes, right? Data analysis, meeting prep. Even just, again, in the military, right? I'm competing against coworkers that are in their 40s to 60s even. They don't know how to use this. If I can copy and paste and tell it exactly the instructions in 5 minutes, I'm just going to beat them. And I hate to put it like that, but that's how it is. I'm not trying to compete with them, but you see what I'm talking about. The same thing happens here. 36 hours a week then are returned to you. Now, most likely, right, you're not going to just leave those free. The boss isn't just going to say, oh, yeah. Go and enjoy that time. They're most likely going to give you more work. But you know what that means? More responsibility, better earnings, a better lifestyle for you right now in this transitionary period. That's not a productivity hack. That's a completely different life. And if the world's already going to go that way, you better be first. And I'm not exceptional, right? I have it, I would say, an above average IQ. I've taken the test. I did go to like a decent school, right? You guys know that, the Air Force Academy. And I had the opportunity to get to study business, right? But I can't code. Not as good as my roommates, right? Shout out to Noah. I don't have an engineering background. I'm just somebody who's paying attention and willing to adapt to figure it out. What this means practically is that the solo operator, the lone wolf, right? The individual that with good judgment and with the right tools can now compete, like I am, with big dogs, ChatGPT, Grok. They are now going to start shivering in their place because I created by myself with only a few $1,000 and a lot of work and testing, and a tool that could genuinely take their business away and be safer for your privacy and your life at the same time, without the worries of ethical boards and things like that. I'm the person behind this, and I'm talking to you guys on a podcast, and I'm willing to talk about these problems because I genuinely find them concerning. I don't see Sam Altman doing that, at least not in a way I feel like I can trust. The math works in the other direction too. One person, right, with AI leverage might produce what took 5 people before. That's not speculation. I'm watching it happen in our community inside of Altura right now. So at the end of the day, we kind of have this like 50-50 reality, right? Genuine disruption on one side, unprecedented opportunity on the other. There's a danger, right, if you're not using it, and there's a massive opportunity if you are. So at the end of the day, the only logical answer to this is that everyone moves into chasing the opportunity and it just becomes the new normal. But in this window, right, before it's normalized, you have the opportunity to beat people. And I hate to put it like that. We live in a capitalistic society. I can't change that. But I can tell you, if you want to have an effect on that, if you want to do better in the world, you got to put yourself in a position to win right now. The question is, what side are you going to end up on right now? And that's where timing really matters for all of this, and why I have to tell you right now, the end of January in 2026, before really this AGI battle starts. Right now in this moment, there is the window. AI capabilities are advancing very rapidly. We're seeing layoffs already because of it, but adoption is starting to lag. Most people are treating these tools as kind of just fancy chat bots, right? They don't understand agentic capabilities of having something actually not just tell you what to do, but go out and do it for you like Nova can. They haven't integrated them into their companies, into their workflows yet. The gap between capability and adoption, that's where the opportunity lives. If you spend the next 6 months seriously just learning all of these tools, even just using Nova for $20, deeply integrating them into how you get work done, you're going to have a significant, exponentially large advantage over the people who wait till it becomes obvious. And by the time it becomes obvious, the advantage is going to be gone. That's why you have an opportunity listening to this podcast, using the tool I created for you, that I created for myself to win. I think about it like the early internet. Again, like Bitcoin, right? Everyone talks about Bitcoin. Let's talk about the internet. In 1995, stay with me, long time ago, having a website was a differentiator. If you had a website, if you were on the big internet, anybody could find your company, right? By 2005, that was the bare minimum. That's where everyone starts nowadays in 2025 with, their business. The people who moved early that had the website that claimed domain names, just off the domain alone, some of those domains, right, like Google, would resell for millions of dollars later. The people who waited and didn't adapt to the internet became employees who went through HR classes on how to use the internet. We're in 1995 right now, maybe 1996. This window is not going to last. The internet had 10 years. And as we know, with technological innovation, it's exponential. So the growth curve shortens and shrinks the time needed to advance as quickly. So we're not going to have 10 years this time. We might have 10 months. And we're already, 6 months into it, let's say. I'm going to get practical. So I know most of you are sitting here like, you might be 45 years old. You might be worried about the rest of your career. You might be 25. You might be just out of college figuring out how to use this to get an advantage. I need to tell you what to do because that's what I would ask. So understanding this, I'm just going to say, is intellectually valuable, but it's worth nothing if you don't do anything with it. It's intellectually infinitely valuable. First, the first thing you need to do is experience it yourself. You're not going to understand agentic AI. You could read books like I did. You still got to understand practically the concepts of it. Unless you have a really theoretical brain and systematic mind like I do, it's just my personality. I'm an INTJ. Shout out to my INTJs, right? That's my Myers-Briggs. I think about things in systems, and I'm really good at breaking down those patterns. But if you're not like that, try it. Nova, I'm not selling you. It's $20 a month if you want to hook it up and do all the stuff with your Google, have it manage your calendar, have it send invites to, meetings for you just by talking into your phone. But you don't need to do all that. You can just use the AI and figure out how it does work. Go to usenova.live. That's the website. I know it sounds self-serving, right? I know I'm trying to promote myself here, but I genuinely believe that the biggest barrier to understanding AI at all, that most people haven't actually used it. They haven't used modern, not just AI, but agentic AI systems that can act like an agent. Just think of it like agent, right? Like an agentic. Imagine an agent operating on your behalf. People have played with ChatGPT. Even my dad has played with ChatGPT. Dad, you're like 60, I think you're about to be 61. You're old, Dad. But I know you've even used that. And you've obviously used Nova. I love you, Dad. Appreciate it. They've seen demonstrations, but they haven't integrated these tools into real workflows with real stakes. You can try Nova for free. I just gave you the website. It's usenova.live. There's no credit card required. You just go literally to the website and use it. If you actually log in and make a free account, then you get voice mode, you can create images, you can do all that cool stuff. Just ask it to do something that you normally spend 20 minutes on, like writing an email to somebody, making a Google document, right? Watch what happens. The experience of seeing an AI that's able to complete a task in seconds that took hours, that rewires how you're gonna think about what's possible now. It's gonna change your meaning of writing an essay, of sending an email. No amount of reading or watching videos can substitute for a direct experience. When your mind is blown, you start thinking bigger. You start thinking, okay, if I could send an email in 3 seconds without having to write anything, what if I want to send 300 emails? Because Nova will do that for you. Upload your lead list, say send emails to these 300 people, asking them if they want to, join my consulting agency, and boom, Nova takes care of it. That is insane. It used to cost hundreds of dollars before. Pay some marketing agency to do that. Nope, couple seconds. Second, now that you've tried it, audit your current work. If you have a side hustle, if you have a job right now, if you're in school, take a week and actually track how you spend your time. I didn't invent the time audit. It's a very famous experiment, right? Not how you think you spend it, but how you actually spend it. I don't know if Simone Sinek, like the, start with why guy, I don't know if that was his idea of the time audit. I forgot who came up with it, but what percentage of your time, let's say in this hour, right, is routine? What percentage requires genuine judgment to figure out what you have to do, or is kind of just lived on autopilot? What percentage of the hour is just moving information from one place to another? From at work, right? Are you just at school maybe taking information in a history book and putting it on a document? That is just moving information. That's a very low level task. Most people are shocked when they do this honestly, when they actually assess their time during the day. The majority of knowledge work is coordination. It's not creation. Most of you guys, I hate to say it, me too, we're all too dumb to be creating all the time. A lot of times we're just finding information that's already on the internet because we likely didn't invent new information constantly. We're just taking somebody else's idea and figuring out how to apply it somewhere else. It's formatting. It's thinking, not thinking, right? It's searching. It's not necessarily synthesizing. So those coordination tasks, right? Researching something on a website, a YouTube video, and then figuring out how to build a company with it. That's where AI agents excel. That's where you should be delegating immediately. You don't have to market anymore. You don't have to send DMs. You don't have to send emails. Get our tool on it for 20 bucks. That's it. Third, once you've started to audit and implement those quick level ups and you're starting to save, 20 minutes out of every hour, take that 20 minutes and start to focus it on protecting yourself. Protect, most importantly, what makes you valuable. Here's the counterintuitive part. As you delegate your most routine, everyday, boring stuff to AI, you need to double down then on the remaining things, the things that keep you human. Because obviously that's what's important. That's what it can't do for you yet. Relationship building, creative intuition, ethical judgment, partnerships, the ability to understand context that hasn't been explicitly stated, feeling emotion. These skills become more valuable, I would argue, not less, in an AI augmented world, which is no denial where we're heading. Because there are things, right? They're the things that I mentioned that can't really be automated, at least not well enough yet. They're the things that will differentiate you when everyone has access to the same AI tools. Because right now you can stick out by being a high performer. If you use Nova to send 30 emails an hour, your boss is going to lick you up and down like a popsicle. Pause. That was really weird. I mean, like in terms of like rewards, right? It's a saying. It might just be my saying. But you're going to be very favored, right, by your management or by your teachers or whatever. So if you are favored, eventually everyone else is going to realize that and they're going to catch up, right? Again, I just mentioned the military is doing that with AI. So then when everyone catches up, how do you keep the advantage? What are you doing in this time where they're realizing that and catching up, but where you still have the spotlight? You're using that time to create your own twist on it. So you might be able to write 5 papers when everyone else takes 5 days to do it in 5 minutes, which already makes you good. But while they're figuring out how to catch up and do that in 5 minutes, you're starting to put your own twist on it, right? You're the ones that can put your own personality into it, that can make your papers that little bit better, that figure out how to prompt the AI better, that meet people that know how to prompt the AI better so you don't have to. People that have access and knowledge about how to use these tools better. The people who thrive, again, aren't going to be the ones who resist it. It's going to be the ones who use AI to handle the routine so they can focus on the exceptional things. That's a lot. Agentic AI is going to be crazy. I think it can potentially kill us all. I think Sam Altman's kind of right about that if we don't handle it right. I think we need to be very careful, which is why I don't recommend you just go give your data to ChatGPT when you know they're making multi-billion-dollar partnerships and selling your information. Do you really want a team who's fired their board multiple times, clearly over ethical conflict, to have your personal information? Or would you rather give it to an AI system that's explicitly designed, like Nova, to protect you and can act on things and do things that ChatGPT would otherwise just give you a template for an email, tell you to fill it in, and then tell you to F off? I want to close this, right? And this is what I'll say. I don't want to attack these people too, but Agentic AI. I started by saying that this isn't speculation. Let me end by saying that it's not optional either. The shift is happening. What I mentioned is happening. You're seeing it in the news. Hundreds of thousands of people are losing their jobs. You might know some of them, right? Because there's only 50 states. So let's say over 200,000 jobs cut. You're talking about 4,000 people in every state. Probably going to know a couple of them. I don't like that. I don't like people losing their jobs. I don't like people being, outperformed. But that's part of human history. People become irrelevant, they have to adapt, or they have to get left behind. It's the hard truth. But that's why I'm here trying to educate you, whether you're 50, whether you're 15, about how you can succeed. The only choice to make it, I believe, is whether you're positioned on the side of leverage, having this to empower you, or the side of displacement, where you let it outperform you because you don't believe AI is just something that makes videos on Facebook, right? Those people who never think to listen, who never think, always get outthought. And it's by the people who will come in and take their jobs. And those people tend to get resentful and they blame the system. At the end of the day, they're the people that have the biggest problems in life because they tend to blame things instead of taking accountability. I'm sorry, it's a hard truth. I know it sounds dramatic. It's, again, maybe a little preachy still, but I've watched too many people that I've known sleepwalk into disruption because they assume they had more time than they did. In some way, it could be very, very brutalist and real. You could argue that Facebook's employees kind of had it coming. They knew Facebook was working on AI. They could have done something about it. They could have became valuable. I don't like saying that. That doesn't feel good. But is it wrong? If somebody argued that, is it technically wrong? Maybe morally it feels wrong, but they have a point. At the end of the day, it could just be you don't have a choice. You're going to get fired regardless, right? They're trying to save money. But in most circumstances, you're in a better position by having control, especially over the skills and education you have. You don't have to figure all of this out today. If you're 50, I know, you're getting to the end of the career, right? Thankfully, my parents are retired already. But if you're getting to the end of the career and you're worried about this stuff, you don't have to have it figured out. Not today, just breathe, okay? And if you're entering the career field, if you're 18, if you're 20, right? I will say, it doesn't have to be done, but you do have to start. You have to start. Just like the gym, right? Just like getting in shape, you got to take one step. You need to get your hands on these tools. I'm giving you Nova for free. I've been very generous with how many messages you can send, how much research I'll let you do on it. I outperform ChatGPT with Nova on the free plan limits. I'm trying to help you guys out. You need to understand what this thing can and can't do because it's only going to get dramatically better. You need to start rebuilding your workflows and the day-to-day tasks that you're doing at your job or at school around this new reality. The AGI moment isn't coming. I've helped build it. It's here. And the window to position yourself correctly is not measured in the span of years. It's months. If you want to explore this further, please try Nova for free. Like I said, that's step one. Go to www, or just without the W's, use USE Nova, N-O-V-A, dot live, L-I-V-E, and just search that. Use nova.live. See what's possible. Make a free account because you're going to get more tools there versus just using it for free outside of an account. And start with the direct experience that I mentioned. Let it get to know you. Let it figure out how it can help you. It's going to start recommending things for you. And be grateful that you got on the inside of the path. Again, you didn't pay money to me. You shouldn't have to unless you really want the prestigious access to hook it up with all your tools. But just check it out for free. That's all I'm asking. And if nothing else, even if you just watch tonight, that's good enough. Start paying attention. Because what's happening right now, not just tonight, but this year especially, is going to define the next decade, if not century, of your professional life. This is your opportunity. Like Eminem said, you only get one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. I'm glad I remembered that. Shout out Eminem. I love you, Detroit. Thanks guys for watching. On whatever platform you're at, please just drop a follow, a subscribe, a like. If you guys are grateful that I sat down after boxing, I'm very hungry to do this. Again, thank you to my parents for helping me. Thank you to my team, Anthony, Elvin. Thank you everybody who helps make this real. And I'll see you guys Sunday, I think. We're going to try to come back and podcast. If you guys want to make money, join Altura, A-L-T-U-R-A, society.com. You can be a content clipper. You can take this podcast, chop it up on CapCut or Opus Clip and post those for us, and we'll give you money for every time somebody watches the video and it's legitimate. And then you can make money to pay for Nova and to change your life if you don't have the funds. But again, it's only 20 bucks, less than a tank of gas. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great weekend. And as always, I'm rooting for you. Good night, guys.